So today it was announced that Blake Griffin and Chris Paul will both opt out of their contracts with the Los Angeles Clippers and become free agents. So what we're going to talk about for about the next 3 minutes is kind of what's next for the Clippers. Because it seems like if they can't get them both to come back next year, it seems that the Clippers are gonna be in a world of hurt. Because you're splitting up your big three in Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan. Because there was talks last year that Blake Griffin was probably going to be traded by the trade deadline. After his incident with the equipment manager last year in that restaurant in Toronto, where it caused Blake Griffin to injure his hand and he had to miss 4 to 6 weeks. I thought that was going to be evidence where the Clippers were going to trade him. So honestly, if I'm Blake Griffin, I would be lucky that the Clippers even gave me a second chance. Because the Clippers could have easily just said, we're going to trade you, you have a bad attitude. You clearly don't want to be here. So head out, or we're going to send you out. So if I was Blake Griffin, I would think about that. And if I'm Chris Paul, originally Chris Paul wanted to be a part of the Lakers, but the NBA said no. So he did the next best thing. He went to the Los Angeles Clippers at that moment. It seems like he wanted to play in LA, but just for the Lakers. And the NBA said nope. Because they didn't want to form their little super team. Because honestly, if I'm Chris Paul, I would at least test out to see who would want to probably play with you. Because there are teams that probably will need point guards. Like maybe Chris Paul can go to the Spurs. Maybe he could go to the Raptors, play with DeMar DeRozan. If Kyle Lowry doesn't re-sign with Toronto. And for Blake Griffin, on the other hand, if he doesn't want to go back to the Clippers, he could possibly sign with the Oklahoma City Thunder to give Russell Westbrook kind of a second-hand man, like Blake Griffin could probably be his Kevin Durant, but he's not gonna match up fully to what Kevin Durant was in OKC, because Durant's a much better player than Blake Griffin is. But at least Blake Griffin get inside the paint, so that could be something. The Thunder could add some size to their team in Blake Griffin, so I think that could be helpful as well. And plus, Blake Griffin be going back to kind of his hometown, considering he went to Oklahoma for college. Or maybe Blake Griffin might sign with, I don't know, let's just say maybe Blake Griffin would want to sign for maybe the Lakers. Maybe he still wants to play in LA, but not just for the Clippers, maybe a fresh start. Like, I don't know, something might be brewing up in LA, but not on the Clippers, but probably on the Lakers. I mean, never say never. Maybe if Paul George ends up staying in Indiana this year, and then he signs the Lakers in the next offseason, maybe that'll entice Blake Griffin to want to play with Paul George. Maybe same thing with Chris Paul. Because a big three of Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and Paul George. And plus the Lakers got some solid young talent on that team as well. But the question is, will the Lakers make that work? Maybe we'll be able to answer these questions maybe around this time next year. Because truthfully what I think is going to happen is, I feel like Blake Griffin and Chris Paul are both going to, at least one of them is going to come back to play for the Clippers this upcoming season. And I've been saying next because they just ended the season about a week and a half ago. So next season, this season, kind of the same thing. At least one of them is going to play in the 2017 season for the Clippers. The other will at least consider signing with another team, like whether it's going to be the Spurs or Thunder or whatever. So I'm going to predict that exactly. Either both of them are going to stay, or one of them's going to stay. There's no way they're both going. All right, that's all I have for today. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next time.